Jake, alin ba yung pipiliin ko? Yung maliit na hospital, pero i-deploy na ako next month? Or yung gusto ko na malaking hospital, pero after 3 months pa ako madi-deploy? Ito na lang kayang isa na maganda yung CQC rating. Jake, ang daming options. Aling hospital ba talaga yung pipiliin ko? Wow, in demand. Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing fine. My name is Jake and welcome back to my channel. With everything that is going on, internationally trained nurses are in demand now more than ever, with some nurses receiving 3 offers from different employers, even some having to choose between 5 employers. So which employer should you choose? Here are the 6 things that you need to consider. The first thing that you need to consider is time. I received a question a few weeks back through Facebook from a nurse who is about to be deployed by one trust, but then suddenly received an offer from the hospital which she really likes. But they said that they can only deploy her after 3 months. So which one should she choose? If we were to consider only the aspect of time, I would definitely choose the employer that will deploy you sooner. The gap between those 2 deployment dates can be a big thing. Why is that? Number 1, the 3 months that you would have to wait for the other employer, you would have used that in UK to pass your OSCE. You would also have 3 months worth of UK rate salary. Besides the regular salary that you will earn, you also have the chance to do bank shifts as a healthcare assistant for the next few months until you become a qualified nurse. So that is another source of income for you, and depending on your financial situation, that can be a very big help to you and your family. If you've already quit your regular job because everything was sorted already for the first employer, then don't waste those 3 months. Because if you wait for that other employer, then that would mean you need to find another source of income for the next 3 months to support yourself and your family. Another reason why I would choose now rather than later is because anything can happen in 3 months. What if your country decides to ban nurses from flying out of the country again because they need all the help they can get in dealing with the current crisis? The next thing that you need to consider is the location. Should you choose a hospital that is within London or outside London / in the countryside? So for this aspect, there is no right or wrong answer. It will depend on your preference. So if you are the type of person who is very outgoing, you like to go out for meals and have a drink and go to parties, concerts, and all those social activities, then the place for you would be London. But if you like having a peaceful, quiet environment and you don't really like to go out that much, you just like to stay home and have tea, read your book, watch movies on Netflix, then countryside would be for you. The good thing about choosing London is that everything is here. So you've got your theaters, you've got your movie premieres down at Leicester Square, you've got Chinatown, you've got all the attractions, Big Ben, you've got your Westminster Cathedral, you've got your London Eye, and all the other tourist attractions. Also, you will have your concerts here. And if you like trying out a lot of different foods, you've got loads of options here in London. The only problem might be the money because it is quite expensive. If you choose hospitals within London, currently it is quite busy, and if you are used to a slow-paced work because you were in a private company back in the Philippines, a private nurse, or you didn't have experience but you were in the call center, then you might struggle a little bit if you go straight to the busy hospitals. So you might want to choose a smaller hospital, possibly outside of London, where you can get your bearings, learn your basics, and then when you feel like you are ready, then you can apply to a bigger hospital, even a specialty hospital within London. Another positive thing about the countryside is that you can be in a small community where everyone knows each other, so you can easily build a network of friends and neighbors that are there to support you. If you say hi to a random person on the street here in London, there are three possible reactions you can get. Number one, you will be ignored. Number two, they will make a face and look at you like you're crazy. And number three, they might say hi back to you. What I'm trying to say is that there is lesser community spirit here in London because people are quite enclosed and private, They stay within their homes and their flats. If you have been offered a bigger salary, then you need to make sure that you get the details of that. Is it still in the hospital? Most of the time, you will be offered a bigger salary if you are in the nursing home because it is a private institution. So you need to choose which area are you more comfortable with, being in the hospital or being in a care home. So there are already a lot of posts and videos about this, choosing between hospital and nursing home. So check those out and then see which one fits your preference. If you are applying only to a hospital and you have to choose a hospital in London or outside London, the one that is in London might offer you a bigger salary, and that's because you have an inner London cost of living allowance. It's basically to compensate for the high cost of living inside London. But to be honest with you, I've communicated with some friends and schoolmates who are in the countryside. So they also have the same stores that we have in London. So they've got Aldi, they've got Tesco, they've got Lidl, they've also got Sainsbury's and Co-op, and the prices are more or less likely the same. In terms of renting a flat or a house, when I started here in 2015, it was definitely more expensive if you are within London as compared to the countryside. But lately, because of Brexit as well as the pandemic, things have changed. You can now find places within London that is actually cheaper than the countryside ones because people from London are going to the countryside in order to avoid this pandemic, and so the prices in the countryside have gone up. Actually, where I am living right now, there are loads of empty flats within this road, and that's because people have gone away. And so, landlords have no choice but to lower down their rates to attract potential customers to stay in the flat. So, if you are within London, prices are the same for food. Rent is now more or less the same or even lower compared to countryside, but you still get the inner London allowance. So, which one should you choose? You also have to take note that salary is not everything because you might get a bigger starting pay in a care home compared to a hospital, but actually the hospital gives you a lot more options if you want to do specialization. So if you want to be a cardiac nurse, you want to be a recovery nurse, theater nurse, or if you want to be a cath lab nurse, and all the other specialties, you can become an educator as well. You can become a diabetic nurse, gastro nurse, infection control nurse. So there's a lot of options in the hospital. And when you go for these specialties, your salary will increase anyway. So it's up to you. A bigger starting salary now or a smaller starting salary, but you can progress to a specialty and also increase your salary later on. The fourth factor that you have to consider is whether you want a private institution or you want to be in the NHS. So when you say NHS, this is the National Health Service, basically the public hospitals here in the UK. The thing that might attract you to private hospitals is the pay. The starting pay can be £10,000 bigger compared to the NHS. But if you want to have a solid foundation in terms of your basics of UK nursing and also get to experience a lot of different cases, then I would advise that you go first to NHS. According to a friend who was transferred to a private hospital, nurses who start off from the NHS are much better rounded compared to nurses who start in the private hospital. The fifth factor that you might be looking at in choosing your institution or employer might be the CQC or the Care Quality Commission rating. There have been a few people who asked on Facebook as well whether they should choose the institution with a better CQC rating. CQC inspections are a very good way of keeping hospitals and care homes in check to make sure that they are doing the right things. But let me tell you, even though the exact date of the inspection is not announced, they will still notify the hospital or the care home the possible days that they might come. Now, my issue with that is because they already know the possible days when the inspection will be, then hospitals and care homes will have the chance to prepare. And for me, it might not accurately show the actual state of the institution because in the weeks prior to the visit, hospitals will be doing repaintings, fixing their furnitures. They will be rebriefing all the staff of the mission, vision statement, and will be giving out different cards for nurses, healthcare assistants, doctors to memorize. So for me, to be honest with you, if you're gonna choose between two hospitals, if there's only a very small difference between the ratings, then it doesn't matter. But obviously, if the CQC has rated that hospital very poor, then you might want to avoid that. The CQC rating is a general rating for the whole hospital or care home, but the specific area where you might be assigned may not reflect that. So it all comes down to where you will be assigned, the type of people working there, the kind of environment they have, and the kind of culture that they have, and the kind of management that they have. So the CQC rating won't really tell you all of those things. So if you really want to know the specifics of the ward or the area where you will be assigned, then you can join Facebook groups where you can discuss and ask people who actually work there already and ask their feedback on the culture. Are they friendly? Are they well equipped? Are there any problems? Is the management okay? So all of those sorts of things. The sixth and the last thing that I think for me is the most important thing that you should consider is the presence of a support system. If you were to choose between a small hospital where you have your three good friends or workmates from the Philippines compared to a bigger hospital, bigger pay, and bigger chance of promotion, but you don't know anyone there, then I would suggest you start off with the smaller hospital where you have a good support system. Leaving your family, leaving your country to work abroad is an emotionally challenging thing to do. So when you get here, you will get the feelings of loneliness, you might get depressed as well, you might start to have doubts if you really made the best decision. And these feelings are normal, but you need all the support that you can get so you can get past these feelings and emotional challenges. If you don't know anyone in both institutions, the next thing that you should do is go for the option where you will be deployed as a group, because that group will be your temporary support system when you start off here in the UK. Obviously, as time goes by, you will be keeping some of those as your very close friends. Some people may leave the trust and they may separate from you, but at least for the first few months when you've just started here, you will be supporting each other. If you really want to be objective and systematic in choosing your institution, then I suggest you put these things into writing and you slowly tick which hospitals have achieved the criteria that you have chosen. Whatever hospital or care home you choose, for me, the important thing is you actually get here. Keep in mind that this will not be your last institution. Once you've gained your qualification and you've had a bit of experience, you are perfectly fine to transfer and choose to another hospital, to another specialty that you want, if you want to. And that's it for now, guys. I hope I've added some useful information and opinions to help you make your decision as to which hospital or care home you should choose. But don't limit yourself. You can get more information and opinions by joining Facebook groups and ask nurses who are actually already here. You might get a different opinion from other nurses depending on the background that they have. If you found this video helpful, then please click the like button And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Subscription is free on YouTube. And keep your notification bell on full shade so you will know when I upload another useful video just like this. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope to see you all in my next video. I hope you stay safe and take care always. Till next time, bye bye.